Good morning. The time for convening the General Assembly as prescribed by the Constitution of the State of Georgia having arrived. The 2020 session of the Georgia Senate will come to order. I would like to welcome each of our senators and their families to the chamber today. We are delighted that you can all be with us. At this time, I would ask that all unauthorized persons to exit the chamber. All senators who have bills or resolutions to introduce, please bring them to the Secretary's desk. Ms. Secretary, first reading of Senate bills and resolutions.
Senate Bill 279 by Senator Jordan of the 6th, a bill to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 9 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to consent for surgical or medical treatment, so to provide public
Health and Human Services.
Mr. President, that completes the order.
Are you all set, Jack? Are you all set?
Whenever you're ready.
Y'all can go back to the stage.
Stand by for 2 minutes while we prepare for roll call. It's now time for the morning roll call. It is now time for the morning roll call. Mr. Secretary, will you please call the roll of senators?
Senator Albers. Senator Lee Anderson. Senator Tanya Anderson. Senator Brandon Beach. Senator Ellis Black. Senator Matt Brass. Senator Burke. Senator Butler. Senator Cowsert. Senator Davenport. Senator Dolezal. Senator Dugan. Senator Ginn. Senator Gooch. Senator Harbin. Senator Harbison. Senator Harper. Senator Harrell. Senator Heath. Senator Henson. Senator Hill, Senator Huffstetler, Senator Jackson, Senator James, Senator Burt Jones, Senator Emmanuel Jones, Senator Harold Jones, Senator Jordan, Senator Karenchak, Senator Kennedy, Senator Kirk, Senator Kirk, Senator Kirk.
I would like to recognize one of our own who will not be with us this session, the distinguished senator from the 13th who has recently passed. Senator Kirk was a true statesman, a distinguished member of this body, and he will be missed by all of us. On behalf of the Georgia Senate, I want to extend our deepest sympathy to Rosalind and the rest of the Kirk family. I would ask that all members rise and join me in a moment of silence to remember our colleague and my friend. Thank you. You may be seated.
Senator Kirkpatrick, Senator Ligon, Senator Lucas, Senator Martin, Senator Miller, Senator Mullis, Senator Orrock, Senator Parent, Senator Payne, Senator Rahman, Senator Rett, Senator Robertson, Senator C., Senator Sims, Senator Stone, Senator Strickland, Senator Tate, Senator Thompson, Senator Tillery, Senator Tippins, Senator Unterman, Senator Walker, Senator Watson, Senator Wilkinson, Senator Williams. Mr. President, that completes the roll. There's a quorum present.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. It is now time for our morning devotion. I would ask that the doorkeepers secure the chamber at this time. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Georgia flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the principles for which it stands, wisdom, justice, and moderation. Thank you. Good morning, and I have the honor, I think this is the first time I've gotten to do this, is to introduce the pastor of the day, because he's my pastor. So it's an honor to be able to introduce the chaplain of the day, pardon me. Clay Scroggins is the lead pastor at Buckhead Church. Let me explain kind of the way our church works. So the home church is North Point Community Church in Alpharetta, and then there's a number of satellite churches, and we attend Brownsbridge, which is incoming, and Clay is the lead pastor at the Buckhead campus. Because like all good pastors, when you're trying to figure out what you want to do, you go get an industrial engineering degree from Georgia Tech before you go to seminary, and then he felt the divine calling to head off in the direction of helping others and got his master's degree and a doctorate. The best part about his story is his wife, Jenny. A lot like myself, my best story is my wife, and they have 5 kids, Lucy, Jake, Sally, Cooper, Whit, and if he comes back next year, he'll probably end up telling us a 6th one that's on the way. He's way too cool to be a pastor, and he certainly has the best hair in the room today, but I'd like to introduce to you my friend, Clay Scroggins.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Duncan is the real deal, and he's the same person today as he was before he was elected to anything. Confident, strong, but a really great person. So, Jeff, thanks for inviting me to do this, and I wish you a lot of success. In 2001, I was a student at Georgia Tech, and I was not a good student at Georgia Tech. I struggled in engineering, which is why I made a deal with the school. I said, you give me this degree, I promise I will never use it. And I have made good on my end of the bargain. But I needed an A. There aren't a lot of easy A's to come by at the school down the road. And I got an internship here at the state capitol with Senator Brown from Macon here and the Senate. And he was a terrific man. It was a great experience. And I just wanted to tell you that right up front, because there's probably some interns in the room here today. And if you have them in your office, I would just ask that you would be kind to them. They may end up preaching to you someday. So just remember the little people doing a lot of the work behind the scenes. I did not know Senator Greg Cook, but I do just want to offer my condolences. I heard his family is watching today, and I know for a lot of you, he was a really close friend and a coworker and a co-laborer, and the really good work that you're doing. And so I read as much as I could read about him. I was tracking with the story in December when I first saw it in the news. I love the quote about him that he was a champion of other people, that he was a man of character, that he had a fervor about him, that he was a strong leader, but he was a gracious person. And as I've been thinking about this little moment, what can you say in 5 minutes that can make a difference in anyone's life? I kept thinking about the little piece of wisdom out of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is a collection of wisdom given to us by King Solomon. And there's a line, it's in chapter 7, verse 2. It says, it's better to go to a house of mourning. It's better to spend a day in a house of mourning than it is to spend a day in a house of feasting. I don't know how you feel about funerals, if you've been to a funeral or a memorial service recently, but there's something powerful about pondering death, about thinking about death. I like happy things. I like good times. I like having fun. I like enjoying life. I don't look forward to going to funerals. I don't look forward to talking about death, but there's something so powerful about it, and it's a practice that keeps us healthy. There's something healthy about reminding ourselves of the fragility of life, that just last year one of your coworkers was here and is no longer here. That there's something powerful about thinking through that, contemplating what does that mean? What does it mean for me? I love the second line of chapter 7, verse 2 of Ecclesiastes. It's better to spend a day in a house of mourning than it is to spend a day in a house of feasting, for death is the destiny of all of us. We all know the death rate has not changed. It's still 1 to 1. Every single one of us will experience death. And then the next little line there, the end of verse 2, it says, so the living should take notice. The living should learn something from it. What is it that we have to learn today from death. I know today's the beginning of the day, but it's also the beginning of your session, so it's almost like the new life. Every day really is this little picture of we wake up in the morning with new life, we go to bed at the end of the day, and it's almost the end of the day signifies a death of that day in a way. And the next morning, new life again. But it's helpful at the beginning of a new time like this, a new session, to remember how important death is. So what is it that we have to learn from death? One of the things we have to learn is that our days are numbered. Every single one of us has a number on our days. None of us know if we're going to be here next year. None of us know if we're going to be here tomorrow. And to live with that sense of awareness that our days are numbered is a healthy way to live. I love the idea that you count down from 40, that this is day one of a 40-day session. In the same way, all of us have a number to our lives. All of us are counting down or counting up or counting some way because our days are certainly numbered. I love the verse in Ephesians chapter 5. It says this, it says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil." There's a couple of other things we can take from death. Make the most of every opportunity. Today's an opportunity. Today matters. There's a lot of formality that I have found about government, and I think some of that is really, really healthy because there's a tradition that we're in. There's a stream that we're in. But today matters because today is a day, it's a gift from God, it's been given to us, and there's somebody today that needs your encouragement. There's somebody today that needs your power to be lended to them. There's not a person on planet Earth today that doesn't need to be lifted up in their spirit. And if that's the only reason, if that's the only good work that you do today, then let that be the work that's in front of you. Today is a day that matters, and today is an opportunity for every single one of us to have influence, to make a difference in each other's lives. I love the idea at the very end of this verse. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. We should be praying for wisdom because there's opportunities in front of us. Let us make the most of every opportunity because our days are evil. What's the evil today? What is the evil in our day? That's part of what you're doing, and there's probably some disagreement on what the priority of the evil is, but I'll just tell you what the evil is in my day. The evil in my day is mediocrity. The evil in my day is just going along with the stream. The evil in my day is the busyness of life where urgency becomes the tyrant, where the thing that's next on my calendar becomes most important to me, but the inability to get up above it all and look out and see what is most important about life. There's a stream, there's a flow of life, there's a river of life in a sense. And if you lift your feet up, it's just going to take you right along that path. But instead, what if we decided, no, we're going to fight against it. We're going to swim upstream. We're going to live countercultural. We're going to be intentional. We're going to wake up in the morning and try to get a clear mind through gratitude, through planning, through critical thinking, so that we can lead to the best of our abilities. Maybe that's what you and I need to do today, to rise above the noise, to see out in the future of what needs to be done, and to remind ourselves that this day matters, this day is a gift, because the days really are evil. And so my prayer for you is that you would make the most of this opportunity, that you'd make the most of this session, but you would make the most of this moment, that you would make the most of this day. What is it that we can learn from death? What is it that you can learn from death? I'll end with this. I was on Saturday, what is today, Monday, so 2 days ago, Saturday evening, I was doing a wedding at one of the most exclusive hotels in the Buckhead area. I've never stayed there before. I'm sure loads of you have. You look like people of great wealth. But for me, I'm a Holiday Inn or a Hampton Inn guy. But I'm at this hotel. I asked one of the ladies, and I'm just nosy like this. I said, hey, so this wedding, I assume, cost a couple $100,000. She said, yeah, probably double that. I said, that's incredible. So it was the most bougie wedding I have ever experienced. 5:30, the wedding was supposed to start. The bride walks down the aisle with her father, and there was a huge storm that was passing through Atlanta at the time. And so they had already asked me, hey, can you hurry up and get this thing done, which is probably what you're thinking right now. And I was already planning on cutting some stuff, doing my best to get this over with. And as soon as I said, you may be seated, The tent that we were under on the terrace level of this hotel was lifted up off the ground. Poles popped, poles snapped. The half of the tent flipped over on the other half of the tent. And so now this couple $100,000 wedding was getting rained on. And so the bride, right there in the middle of all of this, was just getting showered by all of the rain. There was metal flying through the air. There was a few minor injuries. Everybody was okay. My wife, it was quite a traumatic experience for her. Part of it is because my instinct was to run to the wall. She said, "I wish your instinct was to run to me." And as soon as I found the wall, then I went and got her and brought her back to the wall. But, sometimes safety is our first inclination. I say all that to say, I woke up Sunday morning with such a deep sense of gratitude that God has me on earth. And I would just encourage you today to live with that same gratitude that God has you awake today. There's breath in your lungs today. There's a purpose in front of you today. And your day today matters. And so I would just encourage you with what Paul said. Be very careful then how you live. Not as unwise, but as wise. Making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Heavenly Father, I just ask you to remind us of that today, not just in a conscious way, but God, remind us of that in our heart, remind us of that in our soul, that life is a gift, life is precious. God, we thank you for Senator Kirk, we thank you for his family, for the legacy that he's left. I pray that his family would recognize how honored he is. And I pray that we would live with a sense of awareness and reality that today is a day that we shouldn't take for granted, that this moment is a moment that we shouldn't take for granted, that we're awake today, we're alive today, we have breath in our lungs today, and you have a purpose set in front of us today. And I pray that we would walk in it, in wisdom, in justice, in kindness, in goodness, because of who you are. Thank you for Jesus, and I pray all this in his name. Amen. Thank you.
That's the next thing is organizing resolution.
Yeah.
Hey, the mayor's here? Yeah. Yeah, so we can get Jeff to do, we just want to make sure this line is over, and then I think it can be the next one.
College and run point on it.
Yeah. No, I was going to do it Washington here.
Because I was going to give them an opportunity.
Yeah, we need to let them find out.
We'll go from there.
Yeah.
You good? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Jeff.
What's wrong? The mayor's here. So.
The mayor's here. I'm here.
If all senators would take your seats. We have a special guest with us today. The mayor, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, has come by to welcome us all back to Atlanta, and I want to give her an opportunity to address this body. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, and to your beautiful family, to President Pro Tem Butch Miller, Majority Leader Mike Dugan, and Minority Leader Steve Henson. It is my honor to welcome you back to Atlanta. It rained on my wedding day, and people told me that was good luck. So I'm going to put that on the legislature as well. It's raining today. We're going to take that as a sign of good luck. Also, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the life of Senator Greg Kirk. I know that he was a beloved colleague and such a treasure to our entire state. On yesterday, quite often on Sundays, I struggle between bedside Baptist and going to church. But I fought yesterday to get out of the door and make it to church. And I went to a church down the street from my home that I don't normally attend. But once I got there, I knew what the sermon was all about and why I should be there. It was from the book of Ruth, which happened to be my grandfather's favorite story in the Bible, and it was about divine companions. And if you all are familiar with the book of Ruth, you know that in part it says, "Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people." And it spoke about companionship. And part of the sermon spoke of people don't accomplish great things in isolation. People often neglect the people that make them better. And divine companions lead you to solutions. I've kept this sermon in my heart, and I bring it with me here today because what I believe we have between the city of Atlanta and the great state of Georgia is a divine companionship. Because what I know is that my people are your people. I'm a descendant from the Peaks in Crawfordville, Georgia, the Shields from Winder and Madison, and the Robinsons for Athens. But like all of you all, we are here together as one people, working together on behalf of the great people of Georgia. And because we've gotten so much done together, Georgia has consistently been rated the best state to do business. We hosted the Super Bowl, which by all accounts was one of the best Super Bowls in the history of all Super Bowls. And we will soon host the National Final Four. And with your great feedback, we've continued to improve ethics and transparency in the city of Atlanta, establishing open checkbook where our constituents can go online and review all of our spending, but also working to create an office of an independent inspector general. Because what we know is that our people are your people. And a stronger Atlanta contributes to a stronger Georgia. And I'll leave you with one final story. When I came in 2018, I had the great pleasure of meeting many of you all one-on-one in your offices. I had a very productive meeting with someone who then said to me, "And don't you dare go and tweet that we had a good meeting." So what I will say to you, if you don't tell, I won't tell. But I do look forward to us continuing to have many great meetings together and continuing to work together as we have done for so many years. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the great state of Georgia.
Great job. Great job. Great job. Let me know. We would now like to introduce our Doctor of the Day, and I'd call on our President Pro Tem to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. It gives me great honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Robert S. Kaufman. Dr. Kaufman is a board-certified internal doctor. He has earned his medical degree from Morehouse School of Medicine and completed his residency in the internal medicine at Emory University. Dr. Kaufman has been practicing internal medicine at the Kaufman Clinic in Atlanta and Woodstock for many years, and he is a lifelong resident of Atlanta, where he resides with his wife and 17-year-old twins. He enjoys golf, and he's very involved with the Alzheimer's Association chapter of Georgia. We'd like to suspend.
I would ask that the gallery be in order. The chamber will stand at ease. Thank you to the doorkeepers. We will now proceed.
It's getting hot in here. Getting a little warm in here. As I was saying, Dr. Kaufman has a long history of serving his patients in Metro Atlanta, but also what you don't know about Dr. Kaufman is his family has a long history here at the Capitol. His father began the Doctor of the Day program and began the medical clinic here and served every day for many years. Regularly, and Dr. Kaufman, Bobby Kaufman, has followed in his footsteps, and we are pleased to have him here today. We'd like for him to address the chamber. Thank you.
It's quite an honor. You know, you said many years. Well, this is my 30th and a half, so in July I'll be 31 years. It's hard to believe all the years and all the times that I've been down here. I consider it quite an honor. I can remember starting as a 6-year-old, following my dad down here, then working as a page down here, which was a great day to miss school. So I, recommend that for anybody that's. But I just want you to know that we're always here to help you, and a lot of familiar faces who know me. My office is right down the street. But there's the single most important person here is not me or the Doctor of the Day. It's our nurse, who is always here, hiding over there in the corner, Julia Mack. So wave at everybody so they know who she is. I even brought a medical student from Mercer down here, too. So, but we're here, and my office is not far away, and always glad to help. And it's an honor, and thank you for allowing me to be here.
The Secretary will now read a resolution.
Senate Resolution 535 by Senator Miller of the 49th and others, a resolution to notify the House of Representatives that the Senate has convened and for other purposes. Mr. President, that completes the order.
The question is on the adoption of the resolution. Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. Secretary will now read another resolution.
Senate Resolution number 536 by Senator Miller of the 49th and others, a resolution to notify the governor that the General Assembly has convened and for other purposes. That completes the order, Mr. President.
The question is on the adoption of the resolution. Is there objection to the adoption of the resolution? The chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. At this time, I appoint the following senators as a committee of notification to notify the governor that the General Assembly has convened. The senator from the 49th, the senator from the 30th, the senator from the 41st, senator from the 4th, and the senator from the 15th. I would ask that all members of the committee to meet the Secretary of the Senate at his desk immediately upon adjournment. Are there any unanimous consents? The chair hears none. At this time, does any senator wish to rise on a point of personal privilege? Chair recognizes the senator from the 56th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge there was an article in WSB TV a couple of days ago that ranked the top 10 places in Georgia to live, and I am so proud that 6 of those cities are areas that I am honored to represent, and I want to acknowledge the city of Alpharetta, Johns Creek, Sandy Springs, Milton, Roswell, and Woodstock for the exceptional work they're doing to make that the best place to live, work, and play. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 2nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I rise this morning with great sadness. The city of Port Wentworth lost a true public servant. Last night, the Mayor Pro Tem, Debbie Johnson, passed away late last night due to an unexpected severe complication from a recent illness. Debbie was a larger-than-life figure in Chatham County, an advocate for the least of us. She brought remarkable energy to a voice to the people of Port Wentworth, but more